Hi, and welcome back. I'm Bob.
I'm Cindy.
In this video, we left you on the last video. We're in our Ortano South. We're still there. We took a day to go to Fort Meyers, so this video is going to be about the trip to Fort Meyers, the day we spent there, and also to another campground that we moved to from Ortano South called South Bay.
Yep. And we hope that you enjoy watching it. This is part 2. So thanks and enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show.
Just an itty bitty ditty about a couple on the road, driving in Harvey, pulling a toad. No place special to roam, not looking for a home. Won't you come along with us? We are RPlaceTravels.
One day we took a day and went in to Fort Meyers, which is an hour away.
Yeah, it's probably about an hour.
Yeah, it took us about an hour to get there.
Yep.
We went downtown, Fort Meyers. We went to the visitor center.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, our intent was to go to the visitor center, see what's going on down there, and just spend the day down there visiting stuff. But the visitor center was closed.
Well, it wasn't closed. It
Yeah.
was. Plus, it was at lunchtime.
Yeah.
We went in there, and
We couldn't find anybody.
couldn't find anybody. And they had offices, and all the offices had clear glass through them, so you could see if anybody was there. So we don't know if they were all at lunch and they just didn't leave a note out or what.
If it
But
even technically was a visitor center.
right,
We
we
might
couldn't
even
tell
have the wrong building
anything.
for all we knew.
So yeah.
Yeah. So we walked down the road a little bit and had lunch at a restaurant called The Standard.
And yeah, the food was good when you ate it and that, but yeah, it didn't sit right with my stomach. But
She had fish.
I had fish.
That's always a dangerous thing. Eat.
Yeah. So
I don't eat fish. Yeah. So we walked a little bit more downtown. A lot of restaurants, and it's kind of the main street there, First Avenue,
just full of restaurants.
full of restaurants, full of people.
Yeah.
Nice brick roads.
The people were wonderful. They had people sitting at the restaurants on both sides of you and down the sidewalk. So you got to be a people person to actually be able to eat like that and to have people walking through.
There was one restaurant, the Ford Factory or something it was
Yeah.
called. I don't know, but yeah, we didn't see it before we stopped at the Standard. So
Yeah.
otherwise we probably would have ate there.
Yeah, because at the beginning you could see the Standard actually had the Standard gas station,
Yeah,
little
the
emblems on it.
sign. Yeah, the
Yeah, but-
sign looked like the Standard gas station.
Yeah,
the old
but-
Standard gas station.
Yeah, but once you got in it, you couldn't. Yeah, you couldn't tell that you weren't in just a regular restaurant.
So a couple blocks more down is the Caloosahatchee River, which is the same river that goes into this waterway. That's where it starts. We walked down by the
It goes into the
river.
Gulf of Mexico.
goes into the Gulf of
Gulf of
Mexico. We walked down there, walked around down there a little bit.
Yeah, because when we first looked at it, we thought it was the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
We didn't realize it until we actually looked at a map that what we were looking at.
Yeah, it was actually the river.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went from there to the Ford Edison Summer Home Museums.
Mm-hmm. I really liked that. Yeah. When you go there and you park, the beginning of it is they actually have some kind of a gardening center there because Edison's wife just loved flowers and brought in plants from all over the world. So because of that, they have this garden center there. And when we parked, all these people are pulling all wagons of plants and everything. We thought we were in the wrong place in the beginning.
So Edison went down there as a vacation area, and he built these 2 identical houses for him and a friend of his. His friend sold it, and Edison bought it back, and Edison just used it as a guest house. And then Henry Ford and Thomas Edison were good buddies, so Henry Ford built another house right next to theirs. Henry Ford bought a house right next to theirs. A contractor built it because the contractor thought, oh, if I build a house next to a celebrity, I can sell it easy. And then Henry Ford bought it. So Henry Ford was down there,
He
even
made
though
a lot of money.
Yeah, he probably made a lot of money off Henry Ford. So Henry Ford didn't spend a lot of time down there, but it was considered his house. So Edison had his two houses, and then right next to his was the Ford house. Henry Ford vacation home in Fort Myers, Florida.
Yeah.
Right next to Thomas Edison's vacation home.
Which he only came here 1 week a year to just be by the
Hang out with his
Edisons.
buddy Tommy.
Yep. And that. So we'll go up and do some pictures by the porch in that. All the rooms actually go out to the porch.
So the middle section is the part you see was the original house. And after Henry Ford bought it, he put the guest room on the right and the servants' quarters wing on the left. So.
All right, this is the living room of the Ford's vacation home. So this is the kitchen and the butler's pantry. There's the pantry of the Ford's vacation home. Wonderful old refrigerator. In the dining room in the back. In the kitchen. This is the maid's bedroom. And she shares a bathroom with the secretary on the other side. And the thing is like this is the only way out of the room is this door. And that, so whatever they do, they have to come out here. It seemed like all the, I don't know, when you're in humidity and real warm weather, it seems like they build all the houses kind of like this. And here's the secretary's room.
So since they shared the bathroom, one of them's name was Jack and one of them's name was Jill.
He thinks he's funny. There we go. This is the guest bedroom of the Ford's vacation home. This is the caretaker's house, Ford's caretaker's house. All right, this is how close the
Properties are.
yeah, the one on the right is the Ford's, and the one on there's like two houses that are been merged together, and that is the Edison's house.
The farthest one is the Edison house. The one in the middle there, which is identical to the Edison's house. They're mirror copies of each other, but he built them both. Edison built them both, thinking the one on the right was going to be his buddies. And they didn't get along after the house was built, so he ended up selling it.
And then a few years later, he bought it back.
Brought it back out and used it as just a guest house.
Right, and they connected them together. Up on the right are the bedrooms in that, on the top floor and on the bottom floor, and more bedrooms in the middle section there. And then they had the kitchen and the dining room where they actually, that's where they entertained, was at this house. And as we go down, there's an identical house, and that's where actually the Edisons lived. In that, so their bedrooms were on the top floor, and then on the bottom floor. Oh, here we go. I will. Okay. And here's the porch. And then they just made this little walkway in between the two houses.
Look on the inside.
This is the sitting room of the Edison house.
Guest house.
No, well, they lived here like 6 months out of the whole year. They were here a long time.
That's their house. This is when you make the guest house.
This is, the guest house. You are correct. Sorry. But they had people here the whole time that they were here.
Right.
And the piano here was Edison's wife's piano. She was a pianist. The dining room. This is actually where they entertained. All the places that you can actually go out of the rooms. Whoops. There you go. And here's the porch, and we're going to walk around to the other side to the main house. Oh, isn't that pretty?
Little breezeway going between them.
Yeah. Oh, I love how it goes like this. Okay, and we're going up on the porch here. This is the main house. This is going into the living room.
I guess the house has been remodeled a few times. So originally they were mirror images of each other. This house looked like the other house. But after they turned that one into a guest house, they put all their kitchens and stuff over there, and then took it out of this one. Just turned this one into
A living
remodeled
area
it, made it more of a living area.
for just the family.
Yeah.
So the Edison's second wife and his the kids that he had with her were the only ones that actually stayed at these houses and that. So there was a daughter and 2 sons.
Yeah, he had 6 kids, 3 from a previous marriage that his wife didn't live but a couple of years.
After the last.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
she was
they
like
had
20
3 kids.
Right, she was like 29 when she died.
Yeah, they had 3
Real young.
kids, and then she remarried.
He remarried.
He remarried to
Myrna.
Myrna. And I guess there's a couple bedrooms upstairs which we weren't able to go up there and see it.
Yeah. And here is the family den. This is Thomas and Mina Edison's bedroom.
And they actually had to walk outside the house onto the porch to get into the bedroom. It was actually separate. And that was from the remodel, because originally this was the kitchen.
Yes.
And then when they remodeled it, they turned it into their master bedroom.
Don't you love the 2 beds?
was his pier. Apparently that pier used to go all the way out to the middle of the lake.
1,500 feet.
Yeah, right now they say that's 500 feet, and it used to be originally, when Edison was here, it was 1,500 feet long. So.
And then at the end of it was this building here.
Oh, yeah.
They remade it and just put it up here, but it was actually at the end of the pier, this building here. There it is. Oh. And this is the pool. It's all made out of concrete. We got out of the pool. The water that they used had a sulfur smell for it. So they had built this changing room and shower room on this side, and that so that they could get the sulfur smell off of themselves.
The pool is only 4 feet deep, but because Edison wanted to show off, he put the top diving board up there so people would think he had a deeper pool. Even though they never used it, obviously, because you can't dive into a 4-foot pool.
And in the back of the pool is a cistern. That was the water that they used in the houses. This here is the Edison's caretakers house. Alright, we're going into Edison's laboratory.
Take a picture.
I am. On his property. Oh my. They have it all blocked off with a gate. This is the machine shop. Look at all the test tubes. And this says it's the chemical processing area. Ooh, the dark room. And actually the laboratory office. Look at all the bottles. My goodness. Tons and tons of bottles. So these are banyan trees, and what they do is they actually grow an arm from above, and they come down.
Yeah, like a vine drops down, and that's why you see the main branch going across, and you see a bunch of, like, looks like trunks coming up to the main branch.
Yeah.
So what it does is it drops vines down, and the vines grow.
And they
That's
connect
what makes
to
it look like that.
right. So here's some pictures of them. Here's a really good one. It really looks like a vine going up. And that, so as it goes up, I mean, actually it's coming down, then it hooks itself to the ground, and they make themselves so sturdy that they just can't get knocked over at all.
And they're supposed to be filled. They're supposed to have latex in them. So they were experimenting with them to make rubber. Try to make rubber out of it.
Yeah. What is that?
Multi-phone.
Looks pretty. Uh-oh. Battery's at 5%. Mina Miller. Edison. We went on a tour it was about an hour, and
Guided tour.
a guided tour, and it was very interesting in that the tickets were $30 to get in. The only thing that we were disappointed in was that we really couldn't go through the house, and that, as you could see, the doors were all clear glass, and you could kind of look over into the house, so we really didn't get a tour inside of the houses. So that's kind of disappointing in that. So make sure that if you come out here, it's a great tour. You get to go through the gardens. We'll probably put a little bit of the gardens in there. Both houses, and there's a museum also in that. But just if you like going through old houses and that, just make sure that that you won't be able to go through the houses themselves, though. Beautiful, beautiful houses.
On our way home, halfway back to the campsite, we just pulled off the road, a barbecue place. So we stopped at this barbecue place, very good barbecue place.
Yes, it was wonderful.
Yeah, very good food.
It was funny because we were asking about the ribs, and I asked the lady if she said that they had the regular ribs, and I think they're baby back ribs, and then she called the other ones domestic ribs. And I said, what was the difference between them? And she didn't know. So she went and found out. The domestic ribs just means that they came from Florida, which we didn't realize, but which we found out when we were at the Fort Edison place, is that it really is a cattle place. Fort Meyers, and that was just full of cattle.
The campsite's right near a town called LaBelle, Florida. The roads are called Cowboy Way and stuff like that, because apparently it's a huge cattle area for raising cattle. So we didn't never realize that was in Florida.
Right.
You always think of cattle, Texas, but apparently Florida was too.
Yeah,
or still is.
Part of the Edison, where they have the museum, is across the street from where they have the house, and so there's a road that actually goes through the middle of it, and they left the road like that because they moved the cattle through.
And then we went from there about 50 miles east to another campsite.
Yeah.
We stayed 2 weeks at Ortona South, and now this one we spent 2 weeks, called South Bay Campground. Yeah. This was right down in the bottom of the Okeechobee Lake.
And it's known for the trail. There's an actual trail that's there that goes around the whole lake. And while we were there,
planned on taking the bikes out on the trail.
We couldn't figure out how to get on because they kept on having these crosswalks that were blocked off. So we actually went over to the Corps of Engineers. It's the office right in LaBelle. So we stopped in, and she actually made a photocopy of the lake for us and showed us which sites were open and which ones were closed because they're under construction. So everything that was by us was under construction. We would have really had to go on far to be able to ride the bikes. But we did get the bikes out.
We didn't get to go on the trail up around the lake, which we were kind of hoping for, but never got to it.
We got the last campsite for the 2 weeks that we were there, and the only thing that was open was a handicap site, and it was right next to the bathrooms. And that it wouldn't have been my first choice, but
it wasn't bad. I mean, some of the campsites, it's right up against the highway, a major highway.
Mm-hmm. So very noisy.
Yeah, some of the campsites. I mean, ours was very noisy, and it was all the way on the other end from the highway.
Right.
So I imagine some of them up against the highway were probably pretty noisy campsites.
We didn't see one alligator while we were there, but they had signs everywhere for alligators, and
there's a pond right there in the campsite too.
Yeah.
So don't feed the alligators. lots
Yeah.
of signs.
Yeah. No, they said don't molest the
Don't feed
alligators.
or molest. I had that sign.
And the thing was, is this campsite and the Ortano South, when it got dark there, the mosquitoes just came out.
Yeah, it's
Just
like
came out.
every day at about 5:30,
Yeah. It went
Just-
dark.
mosquitoes came out. It was like
Yeah.
clockwork. They just, as soon as it turned dark,
We had a little thing to get the mosquitoes gone and that, and it worked a little bit because I loved to cook outside, but it was very difficult. There were days that I was just eaten up completely, and we had to make sure that we closed the door well because
They
then
get in.
they would eat you all night long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You open that door for a second, you'd have
Yeah.
10 skeeters in the house. They had like a shuffleboard court, but as you can see in the picture, it wasn't even playable. It's pretty
Yeah.
much torn up.
And we don't know how to play or anything. We should
Yeah.
look it up because almost everybody down here's got a shuffleboard court. And then we actually had Christmas dinner there.
There's a couple of RVers in the campsite put on the Christmas
Yeah.
dinner.
We had a potluck, so everybody brought something. And it was very interesting. The people that put it on where they lived, the husband worked for the train. And his favorite part of working there was that at Christmas time they decorated the trains up and they had Santa on the train, and he actually played Santa. And so they gave out these little Christmas CDs that they had made during that
Mhm.
time. So it was something that they gave us. So we'll probably never forget them.
What we enjoy most is meeting other RVers,
Yeah.
travelers,
Yeah.
getting to know them.
We had a lot of people that were there. We got to get to know some of the neighbors.
Yeah, so we found they're usually nice little, these RV parks, just nice little communities with like-minded people out traveling across the country. And, you know, everybody wants to talk to people and get to know you and things like that. So, yeah, it's usually pretty good people.
It is a county park. When we first got there, they did touchless sign-in. So all of our stuff was in a mailbox waiting for us. And we had things mailed there. So they would let us in to get our mail, but they all had their masks on. So I think because it was county and it wasn't like the Corps of Engineers, this was the first one that we went to.
They were pretty strict on all their COVID rules and
Right.
guidelines and things.
So they had to have masks on. We did not.
Yeah, we didn't get to do much person-to-person contact with the people that ran the park. So while we were there at the South Bay, there wasn't a lot to do. The bike trail was closed, and there's not much to do around the towns or anything like that.
Right. So right there, right next door to it is a community center, and I think they have like a little thing for
Playground.
the playground for the
Playground
kids and stuff. But I think they're all connected to the county.
There was these trees there, and there's this fruit, I guess we'll call it fruit, hanging from the tree, which we didn't know what it was. So we didn't know if it was
It wasn't ripe. It was very, very green. So we weren't sure if it was like a mango or.
So we had to pull one down and bring it
Yeah.
home and cut it open, and it was an avocado.
It was an avocado.
So, yeah. So that was our excitement on that.
So if you end up
Campsite.
there, and you should find out if they're in season, when they're in season, and go over there. And they were just full in the trees. So I bet you people have a field day once they get ripe. So we were there at Christmas, so I can tell you they're not ripe at Christmas time.
So thanks for watching the videos. Hope you enjoyed it, what you saw. We're going to be heading down from here. We're actually going down just north of the Keys.
Yep.
So our next videos will be down in the Keys.
And we plan on staying a month down in the Keys.
So come along and learn a little bit about the Keys and what they're like.
Yep.
So thanks for taking your time and watching our videos. We really appreciate it. If you got any comments or anything that you think you'd like to see better or we could do different, just give us some comments and some feedback. And if you're even watching them or you're bored with them or what,
just let us know.
So we'd appreciate it because we appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Adios.
Amigo.
Amigos.